Hello readers, this video is for students that are at a level 14 or a level 16 reader. So if that is you, you are going to follow along with Miss Odie. You will need your consumable. You will need your week 2 Foxy Garden written response paper. You'll need a piece of paper and something to write with, a pen or a pencil. If that is you, if you're a level 14 or level 16, then you will follow along with Miss Odie and read with me today. Here we go. Before we start reading, we're going to do some sight word review. So you will need a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're going to write down the words that you hear Miss Odie say. Your first word is day. She loved that the day was sunny. Day. Sound it out. If you wrote the word day, give yourself a star or a check. If you didn't, I want you to rewrite the word day. Your next word is she. Write the word she. She likes carrots. She. If you wrote the word she, give yourself a star or a check. If you didn't, rewrite it. Your last word for your quick sight word review and check is back. It's 4 letters. Spell the word back. Did you spell it correctly? If you did, give yourself a star or check. If not, go ahead and rewrite it. So now we're going to start with our story. But a good reader always reads the question they're going to be answering before they get started. So let's look at our question for this week. Our question says, read this with me. After reading Foxy Garden, describe Fox's point of view. Use details from the selection as the basis for your explanation. So point of view, what that is saying is how a character thinks and how they feel. So we're going to be paying attention to Fox and how Fox thinks and feels. It says that we're going to use details from the selection. That just means the story. For the basis, so basically to support our explanation of Fox's point of view. So now we know that when we go to read our story, we're going to be paying attention to Fox. Now, another thing that I want us to look at is how we're going to describe Bear. In this story, Fox, a very wise fox, tricks a very grumpy bear. You can see on his face that he's grumpy. And we're going to pay attention to Bear so we can describe him and use character traits, which we'll talk a little bit more. Also, readers, as you read today, I want you to pay attention to 2 specific types of words or sounds. Our first one is ED. When we have the words ED at the end of a word, that usually means it happened in the past. So you could say walked. That happened in the past. You could say, excuse me, you could say called. That happened in the past. But there's 3 different sounds that ED can make. It can say ed. It can say t, and it can say d. So in our story, we know that we have the word happened. Happened. That would go here. Happened. Happened. D, d. But we also have another one that said started. Start, head, ed. It has that ed sound. And then we have that t sound. So I want you to think about a word that has the t sound in it. So we'll write down a word that has the t sound that ed can make, okay, as we read. So for example, laughed, even though it has that ed, it says t. So as we read, I want you to pay attention to, if I look at those ends and it has an ed, does it say ed, t, or d? The other thing I want us to look at is a compound word. Compound words, we already know this, are words, one word, that are made up of two words. For example, the bear loves blueberries. That is one word, right? Blueberries. But each of those words can stand alone. So that word might look like a really big word, but if you separate it, you can read the words and then put them together. Okay, so we're going to be paying attention to compound words and our ed sounds. Okay, you can even underline or circle any words that you see that have those. Okay, now Miss Odie's going to read the first part with you, and then you're going to read some on your own. And remember, as we read, we're going to underline, put a star, or circle parts that show either Fox's point of view or describe Bear and his character traits. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to start reading along with Miss Odie. A Foxy Garden by Jeffrey Forrest. One July day, when pleasant smells surfed, oh, there's an ed, along the breeze, Bear found a row of ripe blueberry bushes by the creek. He stuffed himself with berries and then fell asleep. Squirrel and Rabbit followed their noses to the blueberry patch too. When they started eating the berries, Bear woke up. Is there anything in here that describes Bear and kind of his actions and what he's doing? I think about the fact that the author said that he stuffed himself with blueberries. He's not just taking one or two, he's taking as many as he can. And I'm just going to put a B next to it so I know that that's describing Bear. When I look back at it, I can focus on that. He also fell asleep. Maybe he's tired. Let's see what happens next. And remember, if Miss Odie is going too fast for you, you can always pause the video and then replay it. Here we go. Hey, growled Bear. Those are my blueberries. Scram or else. Wow. Bear growled. He says those are my. It's capital because he's shouting. Scram or else. Think about some words that could describe Bear just based off what he's doing and what he's saying. I see a couple of big words in this next paragraph, but I also see that they're compound words. So we're going to see if we can break them up together. Squirrel and Rabbit. Oh, that's a big one. Let's see if I can break it apart. High-tailed. Wow, it's a compound and it has the ed at the end. I'm going to reread it. Squirrel and Rabbit high-tailed it back to the woods where they told their wise friend Fox what happened. High-tailed. If I don't know what that word means, I'm going to think about how it's used in the sentence. High-tailed it back. If they went back to the woods, how do I think they went back? Do I think they slowly walked back? Do I think they quickly walked back? High-tailed basically means you're going, let's make a U-turn. Hurry up. Let's get back. Let's see what they tell Fox. Bear is being his usual selfish self. Oh wow, they're talking about Bear and they're even using some words. We don't even have to make an inference. They already are telling us how Bear is. We'll have to do something about that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to read the next part on your own. And I want you to see if you can underline any parts that describe Bear or say how Fox thinks and feels. Pause this video, and then when you're ready, you'll see if yours looks similar to mine. Here's what Miss Odie underlined and circled. Let's see if yours looks similar to mine. Fox said, I could use someone strong to help. I already think that Fox is trying to trick Bear. Bear says, what's in it for me? We know that he only is going to help if he gets something in return. How would you describe him? Then he's saying, Fox says, we'll share, of course. That grows above ground. Is he tricking him? How do you think that makes him feel about Bear? The fact that he thinks he can trick him. And then I have another compound word. So, if you need to, pause this video so that you can have the same thing that I do. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to read the rest of the story on your own. This is just day 1, so we will keep reading this story together tomorrow, but I want you to read the rest on your own, and then we'll take some notes together. Pause this video, and when you're ready and you're done reading, I want you to get that same piece of paper that you had in the beginning for your sight word review. Now, we have Bear. Good readers stop and think about what they're reading and if they understand it. Now, I have some character traits here. Say that with me, character traits. Character traits are words that describe a character based off of their actions and what they say. Now, some of these words might describe Bear and some of them might not. So let's go through them. Helpful. Would you say that Bear is helpful? Well, he did help Fox. I'm thinking back to the story, but, excuse me, but he only wanted to help him if he got something in return. So I'm going to cross that out. Greedy. Greedy means that people just want things for themselves. Would you say that Bear is greedy? Yes, I would. So I'm going to write greedy up here. I'm making a circle map. He's definitely greedy. Think about all those blueberries. Would you say that Bear is kind? I don't think so. He seems pretty mean right now. Creative. Creative means that someone thinks outside the box, that they're really intelligent and they like art or just kind of creating things. I don't see any evidence of that in the story. Would you say that Bear is grumpy? Yeah, you can tell even just from that first picture of him that he's really grumpy, right? So I'm going to circle it and I'm going to write it. We have 2 more. Let's see. Selfish and intelligent. Which word best describes Bear? Selfish, only thinking about himself, or intelligent, he's really smart. Now, someone can be tricked and still be intelligent, but that's not really the best word to describe him. We know that even in the story, one of the characters described him as selfish, so I definitely want to write that. Good readers, take notes while they're reading, okay? And I want you to hold on to this because we're going to use this tomorrow. Can you think of any other words that describe Bear? Remember, we're using adjectives, so we're not using full-on sentences to describe him. We're only going to be using one word. Now, you could say that he's hungry, but that's not really a character trait. That's just how he's feeling. So just think about that. Is there anything else you want to add? Pause the video if you need to. The last thing we're going to do today is we are going to do some what we call analogy charts. So I want you to take a piece of paper and I want you to draw an analogy chart like that. It's like a little table. And we're going to be focusing on two sounds. We have vowel combination EA and we have vowel combination AY. EA says E. AY says A. Just like the word eat and just like the word day. So go ahead and write this down. Miss Odie is going to give you some words. Oops, let me move that way. Miss Odie is going to be giving you some words, and you're going to decide whether they go on the E side or the A side. And do your best guess spelling, okay? Your first word is gray. Like today, the sky is gray. Where would you put that? Sound it out. Gray. Gray. If you wrote gray, give yourself a star or a check. Your next word is beat. I beat him in a game. Beat. I know it's EA. Let's think about, eat, beat. Oh, it looks just like eat. So then what does it start with? Beat. B-E-A-T. If you wrote that, give yourself a star or a check. Here's your next one. Seating. Do you see all the seating in the cafeteria? Seating. This is a longer word. Just think about, is it E-A or A-Y? Seating. I know it has that E-A. Eat, seat. What does it start with? S. And then we have, what are those three letters that say ing? I-N-G. Seating. If you wrote seating, give yourself a star or a check. Here's your next one. Stayed. I stayed home today. Stayed. Where do you think it goes? I know it has that AY, stayed. Let's think about the beginning. St, st. What two letters say st? And then remember that sound that we focused on today in our reading? Stayed. It can't just be a D. That doesn't look right. It should be E-D. If you got that right, give yourself a star or a check. We have two more words. Your next word is heater. I stayed by the heater because it was very cold. Heater. I know it has an E-A, heat. Oh, and I know that it has eat. Heat. And then I have my end. I hear I know I hear an R. Does that look right? I need to put something else there. Heater. It's an E. If you got that right, give yourself a star or a check. And here's your last one. Delayed. Ooh, that's a tough one. But I think we can do it if we sound it out. Delayed. My flight was delayed. E or A? Delayed. Wow, it has both sounds in it. So let's see if we can figure out which one. I know it has that AY. Let's sound it out. D, 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 just like stayed, I know that it's E-D. That's a big word. Let's say that together. Delayed. If you got that right, give yourself a star or a check. Now, we will be coming back to this tomorrow to read more together and see if we can get closer to answering our question. Think about, how does